Hi, I'm Renee Smith with vePeriod. This is Evelyn and Adonna Janae Smith. And we're going to talk with Evelyn about her previous experience before trying Jewel Premium Sanitary Napkins. So, Evelyn, what was your cycle like before Jewel Pads?
My cycle, before Jewel Pads, I was going at least maybe 7 to 10 days. And I was, buying the your usual pads that you get from like Walmart, like pads and stuff. But they were heavy, very, very heavy, and it got to where I was messing up all my clothes. I was being sent home from work, so it wasn't very pleasant at all.
Oh, okay. I can relate to that.
We all can.
So, what led up to you trying Jewel Sanitary Napkins?
One day I was on my period, and I came to work, and Janae had noticed that I wasn't looking too hot, so she was asking me if I was, if I was okay, and I said, well, it's that time of the month, and she was like, well, what kind of pads do you use? And I said, well, these are, your regular tampon pad type stuff, and she was like, ooh, she was like, so, I got these pads I want you to try, and I was like, okay, are they gonna do something for me? Because the ones I know, the ones I use,
Right.
they don't do anything. So, it was like, all right, well, I guess I'll try them. So the next day, she brought these pads for me to use. And in between then, I was using them, and I enjoyed them. They're comfortable, and they started to do the job for me. And so, yeah.
What were your cramps like
Oh.
before and after?
So before the Jewel Pads, my cramps were horrible. When I mean horrible, I mean if I even took the simplest ibuprofen, like a Aleve or whatever, they never worked.
Okay.
They would work for they would ease it, but it wouldn't stop it. So it was like I said, I was always being sent home, or I got to where I was getting sick.
Okay.
And yeah.
You were getting sick.
Yeah, I was getting sick.
Okay. Was it from the ibuprofen?
From the ibuprofen and from I honestly think maybe the pad, like the brand of pads, because you never know what they do to the pads before they're packaging them and send them to the stores. You don't know what they do.
Right.
So I'm honestly starting to think that maybe it was the ibuprofen and the pads that was making me sick. And the cramps were just horrible.
Okay.
I couldn't even take a simple Tylenol.
Wow. Okay. So what has it been like after the Jewel Pads?
After, it's been great. Like now, instead of 7 to 10 days, they're your standard, 4 to 5 days, at least 5, maybe 6 if it's just that heavy. But other than that, it's been great. Like I have more energy. They're comfortable. I don't feel disgusting.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't feel disgusting. It works.
Say March. Yeah, around March. I had texted you asking if you were okay, and it took you a minute to reply back to me, but then you had told me that you had just came from the hospital. So can you elaborate on what happened?
Yes. So you did text me that morning, and I didn't text back because, well, one, I didn't have a signal. 2, I was at the doctor's office. And I had received news that I had cysts on my ovaries. There was 2 on this side where my ovaries are, and then 1 on my fallopian tube that leads to the uterus. And when I got that news, I was like, oh my God. So like, what is this? I don't know how to deal with that kind of news. And my mom was with me, but it was like, you hear that kind of stuff and you're like, so
What now?
so what now? And they offered me a procedure that was going to be a next day thing. So I was going to have to go that Wednesday, get them removed, and that was it. But I didn't know if I wanted to do it. I didn't know if, I was like, well, and you're quick to accept a surgery when someone offers it to you. You're like, okay, well, then this is the easiest way, instead of just sitting there waiting, because what if they got bigger? What if they turned into cancer? What if it, the what ifs start coming? I didn't know who else to talk to, so I figured, okay, well, I was like, oh, Janae just texted me. Crap, now I have to explain to her what's going on. So that was when I had called, and you had noticed that my tone was different. So when I was telling you, and then you were like, wait, let me get my dad, if you don't mind. Like I told my dad, and I just was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh.
That's kind of
I was like, I didn't mean for her to go tell everybody. I just wanted to talk to you. But okay. But then once, you put your dad on the phone, and he, after that we had linked up, with the Facebook page and stuff, and he had sent me the video. And, you know, you're offering a second opinion. I'm just like, well, I don't know if I want to go a second opinion, because if this was causing me pain, it was where it's preventing me from eating. I was, you know, I wasn't able to have an appetite. It was hard for me to move. And it was.
Now, what was the video that he sent you? What was that?
The video he sent me was, and I can't remember her name, but it was a very informative video about like Black women and our diets having a major part in how our menstrual cycles and how our bodies and how a lot of things, you know, that really lead up to like cancer cells and stuff. A lot of that is diet. Diet and taking better care of your bodies, like drinking more water and researching about what's really going on, because, you know, doctors are so quick to, hey, you have this, so get this cut and then take this antibiotic for this amount of days and then you're okay. But there's after effects. People don't take antibiotics well.
Right. Now,
So
when they did give you those antibiotics, how did it make you feel?
Sick. It didn't make me any better. You know, like it's like when you take a Tylenol. It's either it works or it doesn't. So, yeah, that wasn't very pleasant.
So the surgery, they were just going to remove the cysts?
Like a hysterectomy.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because
they
you know,
weren't
like
going to do a hysterectomy. They were just going to remove the cysts.
yeah, they were just gonna remove those.
Okay.
I would go like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 months without a menstrual cycle.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I would just be chilling through life without, and I would be buying, like, I have stacks and stacks of pads on my shelf that I bought like months and months ago, but I wasn't having any cycles.
Now, I remember the first thing I asked you was after not including the pads, I was like, well, let's look up, before we go jumping into surgery, let's go look up other ways to kind of naturally get rid of the cysts.
Yeah,
So we were both doing our research with the food, the things not
Yeah,
to
like
eat.
in a lot of things, it's dieting. It's there's natural ways, and natural ways do work,
Right.
but you gotta keep at it, and it's hard. It really
Yeah.
is, because once I started feeling better, I was like, ooh, okay, I have a slight appetite. Hamburger? No, because I stopped eating red meat. I stopped my intake on red meat, so now I eat chicken. It's got to be either baked or grilled, fish, more vegetables, more water, less soda. She's good with keeping me on that. And if I do have like a nausea type of feeling, if I drink something fizzy, it's got to be like a Sierra Mist, but even I mix that with water
Okay.
because it's sweet.
I do have like another question. When I gave you the pads, before what you were feeling when you had the cysts on your ovaries, and then when I gave you the pads when your cycle was still there, it was more heavy. But what was the aftermath after that? Like,
well, before when I had them, like I would just be bleeding, and you know, it's like either I bled or I didn't. So there were like maybe 2 days I would bleed, and then I would use pads, and then there would be another maybe 3 or 4 days, and then just would stop. So it was like an on and off kind of thing. But the aftermath, once I did start using the jewel pads, my cycles got regular. And that was after I started the healthy eating. And once they got regular, so now my body has been like flushing itself out. So it's been heavy for maybe a good 7 days, which was to be expected because I did go to the doctor and I asked, and I was like, hey, it's happening.
Right.
Like, what is this? So it's just my body flushing out all the last of the impurities of any antibiotics that I took. And I stopped taking those after maybe 2 weeks because it was making my hair come out. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, well,
Yeah.
nope. So I stopped taking those. I just went to completely natural. If I take anything, it's got to be like a Tylenol.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm no medicine, none of that.
Okay.
So now that I use the jewels, they're comfortable. They catch everything, and they give me more energy. Because before, you know, when you're on your menstrual cycle, you're just like,
yeah.
you're just
Like,
like, do I
wanna
really want to
sleep.
get up? No, not really. Hey, do you want to go clean a lake? No.
Wow.
But now, you know, like I said, I wore the ones you gave me, and I wore the second one Saturday, and I was up running around, and I was like, okay, this is great.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I was like, I don't even feel nothing. I'm just running through life. I was dancing and everything. I was like, okay.
Now tell me about the
she was
last
dancing,
doctor's
okay.
appointment. Like the last doctor's appointment.
They checked my weight, and when they came back, they were like, okay, well, you've dropped a good 20 pounds. Because I went from, before I even knew about the cyst, I had one doctor's appointment where I was like 200, and then I went the first time when finding out about the cyst, I was 197, and then in between me being sick all the time, you know, throwing up because I couldn't eat certain things and I was unable to eat. I had dropped 20 pounds, and now I'm at 177, and they did an MRI on me to, you know, check, because that's how they check for all those.
Okay.
So they did a whole scan.
Wow.
And they said they would call me back with any other results. And then I missed a phone call, but then I got a text, and then I came to work and I was like, hey, I'm free. So yeah.
That's amazing.
So far so good.
Okay. Now, so this is the brand right here. This is what Evelyn was using, or is using. Jewel Overnight Super Heavy Flow. It has 7 pads in there, and they look thin. This is not the usual pads that you see, but this right here is a game changer.
A very good game changer. I mean, listen, I'm a living proof, and I had cysts on my ovaries, and I almost took a surgery that would have been money. And I figured, okay, it's expensive to eat healthy, but I'd rather have that expense than a hospital expense.
And then this is only $6 per pack. Getting surgery is how much?
Thousands
A
of
lot of
dollars.
money. Maybe about 4 of her textbooks. So
$116.
just saying, had to throw some humor in there, but a surgery and see, with me, you know, just to throw this out here, I will be 26, and if you don't know, I will be cut from my mother's insurance, which means I won't have any medical. So I'm telling you now, if you want to pay for a surgery, please, by all means, take your $1,000 and get cut open, because I won't.
So your change of diet and Jewel Premium Sanitary Napkins
Yes.
is what helped.
Is what helped everything.
Awesome.
Everything. And this stemmed from me almost, like, if I can just rewind back to this whole almost 2-hour conversation, because you and I were on the phone for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it was.
we were on the phone for a while because I was panicking.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do when you get that kind of news.
Yeah.
You don't. So when you guys put me on to these, and I'm just like, okay, well, what is this gonna do? Oh, okay. You know, and they always say overnight super heavy flow, but you don't know if it's gonna work. But these, heaven. Heaven, like $6. I would rather pay $6 than the $8 I was paying for the regular pads that didn't work.
Yeah.
I was spending at least $10 plus tax for a huge thing about this big with maybe 12 pads in it that don't work.
No.
And the ibuprofen.
Yeah, and ibuprofen.
And then Midol, was it Midol?
She didn't take mine.
Well, I know, but that's still some things
Yeah.
other women take to kind of reduce the cramps.
Yeah. Now I think these need to have a commercial.
This might be the commercial.
might be
right
the-
there.
So
Well, thank you so much, Evelyn. You can be inspiration to other young girls that may have the same experience and they're not able to talk to anybody, or they may feel uncomfortable discussing their personal situation with others. But sometimes you got to stop suffering in silence and talk to people that may be able to help you.
yeah, because
So this is a
I almost didn't call anybody. I almost kept this to myself, and then I was like, nah, I was like, I gotta tell somebody, because I don't know what they could know. They may know more than what I know. So, you know, telling her about it, and then getting her dad involved, and, you know, he was super cool about it. He was just like, listen, you don't have to tell me everything. And I was like, nah, I'd rather tell you everything, because if I tell my dad, he's gonna panic. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that with us today.
thank you.
Thank you so much for listening
See you next time.
and watching.
Commercial. Remember that. Commercial.
You want it. You
You
want,
want
it.
these.
You want it.
You want
You don't want to
these.
spend no extra money. You want it. You want it.
Only $6. $6 or 10. Pick one. Like
$6. You want it.
6.
You want it.
Really, you do.